Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of the Zach, Tony, and Grimbo Show. Yes, we're back for our second time with the new logos. Look at this, these nice shirts. If you're watching the video version, we all decided to match today. You know, the squad has joined up for the next episode of the Zach, Tony, and Grimbo Show, the Gridiron Gallery NFL edition with my buddies, my former football teammates too, Tony Stenuelson and Michael Grimbo Grimberg himself. Gentlemen, we're back in. We have had plenty of stuff going on since our mock draft episode, which even those, you think of it like NCAA, where some of those are broken drafts at this point. A few of the moves, a few of different places. What we doing with that? You know, kind of hard to look back at now.
Yeah, we have some really bad takes from those now because there's been so many changes.
No kidding.
San Francisco alone just messed that one up, right?
It seems like right after we made it, everyone's like, yeah, we're just going to start trading now. We're going to mess everything up.
But you know what? Miami, I think, showed us that they're gaming the system so much. Just
Yes.
trading out of the three spot, and then somehow getting back to the sixth, so they can still retain those picks from the 49ers later on. But they're still going to get a top 10 pick out of this whole ordeal. You know, that's an up and up franchise. That's like Bill Belichick type of scheming right there.
That is true.
Mind games and all that. I love it, and it's adding on to some more drama. You know, and the draft's coming up pretty quick with that. So you know, every week we pass on, we get more and more potential for teams looking to make that final move. You know, Michael alone, he knows this. We've been talking this week, or these last few weeks in particular. Atlanta is might be making some calls. Am I right?
I think so. I hope so, but we'll see if it's a smokescreen or not for the potential QB suitors.
Oh yeah, there's a few of them. Chicago is always getting mentioned, but you know, real quick for me, don't think they'll take the bait, but if they're that desperate, maybe they do. I don't know. Andy Dalton, it seems like they're so dead set on, but that's all I'm going to say. Like, they're so dead set on him, and he is one of those guys I have to talk about because this is the trade and free agency episode, because we had our mock draft last time. So now we get to talk about all the crazy stuff that happened around the mock draft session, around all the last few months post Super Bowl that we've had. And, you know, here we are. Plenty of takes, of course, around various places, plenty of surprises that we've had in our discussions outside of the show. And, you know, let's just get into things. And I was kind of rude here. First off, let's see here. Tony, Michael, how are we doing, by the way? I just jumped right into the mock draft first because, you know, again, we just had all our stuff busted up after a few weeks. So how are we doing? You know, how's life, guys?
It's life. It's going, you know.
We're
surviving.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, you don't have to tell me anything. I'm just trying to be courteous on the show, just so that, you know, we can get some updates and all that. That's cool. I get it.
We're doing good. We're doing good. I had to give you some banter for that, just because you know, somebody's got to keep you on your toes.
Right. I mean, we already let off with the raccoon updates again that we didn't think were going to happen. So, I mean, of course, I want to make sure that that's not the only big story in our lives. So, I'm just saying.
Nothing so far.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get complaining about our teams.
I mean, Michael's got what, 3 weeks until he's a married man.
Okay, that's true,
man.
That's
that
true.
Is very true.
I was waiting for him to say it. You know,
yeah, dude.
Waiting.
I figured he was just gonna glance past it.
No. It's casual, you know.
Overlook the wedding. What?
I'm getting married.
Who, me?
Formalities at this point.
Wait a minute.
Practice. I gotta practice this stuff.
Practice?
Yeah, we're talking about practice. Come on. You think I'm gonna mess that up on game day? Oh man. Well, Michael, yeah, that's for those that have not been listening to our shows. Yeah, Michael's you know, getting married, so he's been having
thing going on.
He's been having several months now.
Yeah,
ready to go. We'll give him a little more break from that discussion, since I know he's probably got craziness behind the scenes to deal with that planning. Let's get into the fun stuff now. Or is it fun? All of us are kind of losers at this moment until proven otherwise in 2021. but free agency might have changed that for some of us. I'm going to wait until I say my point, but Bears have been in the news a lot. But looking at free agency, let's get our round table discussion going. And as we always do with these teams, Tony usually gets the first crack at it. America's team gets the first say. So America's team will get the first recap. Tony, I don't know about you, but besides maybe the QB, I thought Dallas was kind of quiet in free agency. Am I wrong?
Well, going off my notes here, we've got like 2.5 pages of stuff. We signed a bunch of safeties, a bunch of secondary people. Re-signed Jordan Lewis. We signed Keanu Neal, or we signed Keanu Neal, not re-signed. I apologize. Re-signed CJ Goodwin. He was a great special teamer. We got a brand new long snapper, who's apparently 7 years younger than our other long snapper. I didn't know our long snapper was 40 until today. Oof. And then we let him go, and now we've got a 33-year-old. So, hey, when you come into long snap, I guess you got a pretty long career.
Right.
Let's see. Got a couple defensive tackles. One from the Texans. Oh yeah. Today we signed Jeremy Sprinkle, which is good because it can finally put to bed the noise that we're going to be trying to go after Kyle Pitts. Because I don't think we should go after Kyle Pitts. But other than that, I mean, we basically become the Dallas Falcons because we've signed so many of their players. So
that is right.
No kidding.
That's so true. Keanu Neal instantly makes me go straight to that, and I don't even know how I glanced over that because we had talks about Neal going to Dallas in some of our outside chats from the show itself. But yeah, I mean, I guess besides that one, it's you guys have a lot of at least positional pieces and depth to add to it right now. You're getting your main pieces back from injury anyway. You're talking tight end Blake Jarwin. He's going to be healthy this year.
Blake Jarwin's going to be healthy this year. We signed a swing tackle that played for the Bills, so we're going to hopefully get Zach Martin and Tyron Smith back healthy as well this year. So we might actually have depth again on the offensive line, which I didn't know that was possible.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, all in all, I'm excited about some of these. I mean, there's some veteran presences that are being there. And then obviously re-signing Dak was, if we didn't do that, we were going to be the first team to, go 7-10.
I know. Here we are with the new 18-week season, 17 games being played. Hell, we haven't even brought that up too. But yeah, goodbye to 7-9, goodbye to 8-8. Either you're a winner or a loser. There's no middle ground anymore.
Man, that means I can't tell Mike that Dallas is probably going to go 8-8 this season. It's very sad. It's very sad. I've had. We can go 8-9, yeah, but 8-8 is better than 8-9.
8-9, 9-8. It doesn't have the same luster. I'm going to miss the Jeff Fisher jokes. Those are dead. 7-9 Jeff Fisher jokes are forever in the past. You can never repeat that again.
Yeah. Let's say we pause a quick second for remembrance of those jokes.
In memoriam, Jeff Fisher. Rest in peace to your 7-9, 6-10 ways, as well as for your promises of a better day in formerly St. Louis.
To be fair, we're not breaking the news that Jeff Fisher has died. We're just saying that we miss him.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a pretty sad day for a guy that basically made an entire NFL meme section before really NFL memes started truly getting, take off-ish on the internet. So
OG.
It is. It's a little more OG. The real OG one is, of course, the butt fumble. We can never forget the butt fumble.
Yes.
Never.
Yes.
That's the real OG NFL meme right there.
That is so true.
You know what? And I'm not going to bring it up on the show, but of course I'll reference that Michael's team has the other meme that never dies. And I won't, of course, say it as I promised as we move forward to never mention the specifics unless I fumble it, which I usually do in these shows. I will not, though. But you know which one I'm talking about. A Falcons fan. That's all you need to know. Okay. That's all you need to know. We don't need to get farther. Michael, better days are ahead for the Falcons, right? Free agency, it's one of the steps. We already talked about the what the Falcons might look for in that first round, and they're talking about things right now. What was their free agent moves for at least the future?
Yeah, so most of it was on the defensive side of the ball. They got a few linebackers and safeties and all that kind of stuff. But the one I'm really going to touch on is Mike Davis, running back from Carolina. It's not a splashy move at all, but hometown guy. He's been in the league as a seasoned vet. He knows the game, and he'll probably have a little bit of a rotational role with Ito Smith, and if Todd Gurley's there, I don't know if they're going to keep him or not. There hasn't really been any word on that or not. There's been rumor that we're going to take a running back in the draft, maybe a little earlier than people think, but I like the Mike Davis signing a little bit. Like I said, he's a good rotational piece. Keep the running backs healthy. See if he can play a similar role to when Michael Turner was there back in the early 2010s. I know. Yeah, I know. A little bit remembrance of that, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I believe it's only a 1-year deal, so it's not a huge risk, so we'll see how that pans out. But I'm really zoning in on that 4th pick and what we're going to do in the draft, and if we're going to trade back or not. That's really the big storyline on every sports app that I follow. So it's really interesting to just see how everyone's views are, especially in like the community. I follow the Bleacher Report app, and they have this community like page, and you can just comment and say whatever. And it's so funny to just see everyone's just knocking of Matt Ryan just constantly. It is what it is. And I know people, they're falling in love with the mobile quarterback now, which it is a different league now. And I understand that, but he's got so much money tied up into his contract, and it's so hard to just part ways with it. Kind of like how the Rams parted ways with Jared Goff and that situation, so I hope we don't get rid of him. I don't think we will. It seems like they're pretty invested in it for right now. And I'd say at least he has a few more years left in him, and he finally has a offensive minded coach to get him going. So we'll see how that goes. And I don't know what we're doing with that 4th pick, but whether it's quarterback, Kyle Pitts, or trading down, or offensive line, it seems like we're the ones that are controlling it right now. So we'll see, because of those top 3 picks are going to probably be quarterbacks. So we'll see how it pans out.
I think that the Falcons are in a reasonable position to build up some capital if you want.
Yeah.
They've already sound like they're fully set on their future Hall of Famers they're going to keep around, as they're considering them still in their quote unquote prime, and I'm referencing, of course, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Matt Ryan in particular is the key piece, because if they don't trade and they're still sitting there, talks are, Trey Lance is still saying, or Mac Jones' stock has rose to that top 4 spot, surprisingly, in the last few weeks, which I'm shocked. So many people were saying, well, he's a 1-year Alabama quarterback that's had all the talent around him, and he has continuously had his stock increase to where I'm seeing more and more that the Falcons are in that spot. If they don't trade away, people think they might go for Mac Jones and just have him sit there maybe a year or 2 behind Matt Ryan, and they figure out what they want to do with him. Do you think that's an option yourself you'd want to pursue? If you're as a Falcons fan, do you feel that's an option that should be pursued?
I wouldn't be opposed to getting a quarterback, but I don't think it's this draft. And I know I've heard that people are saying, well, who knows if we're going to have this high of a draft pick in the future again, which I totally get that. It is what it is. But, there's not many times that we get the 4th pick and we are able to just take the best player available either. It doesn't have to be a quarterback. Our new general manager, Terry Fontenot, he specifically has said, we're going to take the best player available. And that's plain and simple, regardless of position. If it's offensive line, defense, whatever, quarterback, whatever it is, they're going to take it, but we'll see. I don't know specifically that I would take a quarterback right now, just because our defense is like nothing now. So
Right.
I would rather, as we've already talked about in the draft episode already, that I'd rather trade back and gain picks in the future and build the defense than get a quarterback that's going to sit for 2 years maybe, or unless Matt Ryan gets hurt, which, I mean, anybody could, but I don't know.
Yeah, it brings up that whole thing, man. Like at the 4th pick, you could draft a really good offensive lineman. I mean, it doesn't matter who's behind center if you don't have a good line to protect him. Right. So I think if they don't trade back, they need to take an offensive lineman. Taking a quarterback now doesn't matter if you take a top 4, top 5 quarterback, because look at Dak, look at Tom Brady, look at all these guys that were later rounds and later picks, and look at how they panned out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you got some options later on. I mean, people still hint at Kyle Trask, and his stock's kind of gotten shaky as it's moved forward. But there's some that are high on him, potentially being that diamond in the rough in the 2nd round. You know, there's a few of them. Yeah. Him, Kellen Mond's another one. No one's sure where he's going to go. His highest 2nd round sounds like is his best bet. You know, Chicago's been linked to possibly him if they were going to do a QB later in the draft, or Kyle Trask. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm sitting. And, you know, those are options later on if the Falcons did want to look for a successor. You know, I'm also wondering too, I imagine Matt Ryan is a somewhat friendly team guy and probably isn't like a Ben Roethlisberger and would, you know, push someone away for potentially being a successor to the throne. So, you know, that plays into it. But as you just said there, I don't think he would be that guy anyway.
No. And he said it publicly too. He would not shy away from it. He's the pro's pro. He's not going to shy away from anything. He's done so much for the city already. He's going to be 36 coming up soon. And I don't see why there's any reason for him to, if we were to take a quarterback, that he would shy away from that. That's not him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. No, I get that same vibe from him though. You know, we'll see what happens. There's options, but that Falcons have been one to ride with their stars and build. And you're absolutely right. Building on defense is what they have been doing, which is what Chicago's been doing most of their time I've been alive, and most of the time that they've been a franchise. Which brings me to my section, which I won't try and linger too much on, but you know, it's nothing special really. I mean, you know, it's not like it has one of the most talked about biggest flops on a QB pickup this offseason. You know, after you go from Russell Wilson swinging a miss to an Andy Dalton for 1 year, $10 million. So I get to enjoy some of the perks of Dalton the way that Tony did last year, except it's now in a worse offense than it was the Cowboys. So hooray, worse receiving core. Maybe meh. The backfield, I would say, you know, I'll give it a pass. It in terms of balance, when we picked up Damian Williams, I'm like, okay, you know, backfield is a wash. But no, receiving court, no, I can't argue that that's better. The draft's going to be crucial for what the Bears do, because it's not as good as what it was in the years past. But I mean, as we talked in our mock draft, Chicago, I think, should draft a lineman, and I don't know if they have the balls or cojones, if you will, to move up to that number 4 spot after a miss.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, credit, they're talking about, you know, Pace and Nagy should be on the hot seat more than ever for this year for their jobs. So, you know, if they do, maybe I'm not shocked, but also after missing and making arguably one of the most baffling mistakes in terms of hindsight for quarterbacks in NFL draft history, it's kind of hard to say you would do it again, but you know, what do I know? So maybe they move up, but you know, looking at the free agency in general, like, I mean, they got Allen Robinson back on a tag. Great. They made a mistake either way. We've talked about this on this show. Should have signed him already, and they tagged him. Was upset, but willingly signed, of course, because it's money. So go and prove it. If you don't get signed next year, go somewhere else. Great. I mean, other ones I'm happy they got back, you know, like linemen, for example, Jermaine Ifedi, Alex Bars, you know, they played admirably last year for a line that was improving with, you know, run first, pass second. So I'm happy to have those guys back. Obviously, role players like DeAndre Houston Carson at safety. You got Deion Bush back at safety. I would say having like, of course, getting your top special team guys. That's one thing the Bears decided to really get in and roll the bankroll out was for guys like Cairo Santos, Patrick O'Donnell. They gave Patrick Scales another year deal. So cool. But as for the new faces, Dalton's the one that really is the kind of the big sore thumb that sticks out. I mentioned Damian Williams, 1 year deal, but a sneaky good one. When you get Dave Montgomery, Tariq Cohen's healthy this year, Williams is going to be in that backfield with him too. So if they don't mismanage it, it's going to be a backfield I think that has a lot of potential. But Matt Nagy's calling the plays again. So my faith instantly drops down another big cliff. And that cliff wasn't even that high to begin with anymore. It's already small. So I didn't move too farther. And then, of course, one of these free agent signings that, at least Michael will know about is because we had to let go of Kyle Fuller due to cap casualty issues, partially because they picked up Andy Dalton. It was kind of a chain reaction. So Dalton comes in, Fuller comes out a few days later, and we need a replacement. So we pick up Desmond Trufant, who fell off a cliff in his own way in Atlanta and then went to Detroit and did pretty much nothing, I would say standard, which is not what his name is. He's known to be a Pro Bowl talent, but he's on the back end of his career. And you pick up for a year deal, $9 million. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to replace Kyle Fuller in my eyes. And, that ill will is already there. So it is Trufant to fill in. They'll probably pick up another, secondary player in the draft anyway, but, Trufant was to fill in a spot. They got some role players for defensive line. Go figure. That's what they usually do. They're the Bears. They got to get that depth for D line. They pick up some O-line depth, but nothing that's going to be spectacular with Elijah Wilkinson. The one that's intriguing to me, though, is they picked up Christian Jones again, who was a former Bear, went over to Detroit, and has come back. And it's a 1-year deal, but he's a really good role player and one that I think is a great rotational piece for the linebacking core. But beyond that, and some guys getting re-signed that are just recognizable names, seeing guys leave, like, for example, a Kyle Fuller, at least in my case, they haven't re-signed Cordell Patterson, who's still sitting there, and they probably won't re-sign him from what it looks like because he'll probably be too expensive. Just guys like that have been key pieces that probably won't get their money. Shariq McManus, he is on the older side, but he's been one of the best special teamers for the Bears. Probably won't come back either. Roy Robertson Harris is a little too expensive. Probably isn't going to come back. Or actually, he has not come back. He's going to Jacksonville. My bad. But, I would not too great of a free agency for me. And, of course, the Bears are in the news in the worst way possible. And they keep being in that cycle that just keeps making me feel like utter trash and asking why I continue to support a franchise that seems to be okay with always being stuck at one of the lowest levels. Not Detroit bad, but maybe a half a rung above, where we're like, we got the history, but we've been pretty garbage. 1985, we got that. Keep going back to 1985.
Turn back the clock.
Yeah,
that's almost 40 years ago now.
Right. 2018 was Cody Parkey's fault. We're still mad at Cody Parkey, right? That's why everything's been so terrible.
Yeah, that's why he got re-signed in Cleveland this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Remember, guys, we got to the playoffs last year. We were the 7th seed. Isn't that great? We got a playoff berth. Second one in Matt Nagy's tenure. Everything's awesome.
No.
Hey, you had a former MVP.
I know.
Nick Foles?
I didn't even mention Trubisky leaving, but honestly, I was at the end of the season, I was so dead set and knowing that he wasn't going to be around that I was just like, cool, you went to Buffalo and you're going to sit behind Josh Allen for a year and probably get to analyze how that works since he's taken the right steps, the steps he didn't take in Chicago. So, good luck to him. He's a great guy with work ethic, but that's about all I got. Even with Andy Dalton here, I'm still happy that he's moving on because we need to move on from him, period. Even if this is not the scenario I would want, the quarterback that Ryan Pace says was definitely the one that'll elevate this offense. He's going to take it places that Mitch Trubisky couldn't before. He hasn't said Mitch's name, of course, but he says he's going to take the position farther than it has before.
However far that is, I'm not sure.
I mean, Tony would know.
What is this out in Cleveland or out in Chicago? Very, very confused as to what he might be smoking that would make him think that that's gonna be
I think
solution.
You know what I think? I think he's looking at his hair and he goes, "Man, that guy's on fire. That must mean that he's on fire on the field.
This guy's on fire."
I described it with my other buddy Will in his show Windy City Sports Talk. I was like, we picked up a QB that looks like the living embodiment of Heat Miser from the Christmas cartoons.
Yep. Oh yes.
Yep. Like anytime the dude doesn't have a helmet on, he looks exactly like if the character was not like a stop motion animated figure, and he's skinnier. So
right now, yeah.
At least he's been getting some oomph in those interviews. But you know what? F it. The Bears get a wash. It's bad. It's a bad free agency in my book. Honestly, out of your guys is you guys at least are making some moves or have pieces already. Where I'm like, cool. Michael always in the spot where he has to restart, and that's where I wanted the Bears to be this year, but that's not where we are. So, I'm in right in the middle. Tony at least has potential to take the East and move forward. So
we're in reload mode. Let's go.
That's reload mode. That's you, Michael. You're in reboot mode. I'm in purgatory.
Yeah, where am I?
Purgatory.
I'm in hell.
It is hell. This is the living embodiment of hell. No, I've been through rebuild mode. Rebuild mode's not hell. It's a bad team. This is hell.
This is where you have hope just for it to be pulled away from you the last second.
Exactly. Yeah. Since 2018, since 2019, I've been a living hell for 2 years.
Almost got it.
So close. So goddamn close. Oh my God. But I continue on my amazing journey. And so do we. Because we can't just talk about our own teams, guys. We got to talk about the rest of the league. There's other surprising pickups that either affect our divisions or conference, or the conference that none of us are fans of, the AFC. We don't have anyone. None of us follow AFC teams unless we're having a closet favorites, as some fans call it. I will be honest. Bills are my closet favorite. Just going to put that out there for everybody. So
I think that's a show favorite for sure.
I'm just being honest. Been that way for a while. They're the underdog community too. So just going to say it. But
yep.
Looking at this, we have of course had several months now of free agent talks from different teams, or at least those that have signed at this point. Let's see here, Michael, you get the first crack at this. We gave each other we kind of started at least a chance to say we want a surprise or mismatch free agent pairing or pairings. There's several of them that are out there every year, and of course, free agency doesn't mean you win the off season. But it does, of course, give implications for what your team can be moving forward, especially in the cap scenario, which for us here definitely has been more of a topic, I think, ever at least in mine or others' football perspective than before. So, Michael, you get the first crack. What one should we be looking at going into next year that you're either saying, okay, this could be really damn good, or this was a massive miss and they were desperate to sign this guy just to fill a need?
I think this one might be a little bit of both, actually. It wasn't a sign, it was a trade, and it was the first big trade of the offseason, of the Rams going all in on Matt Stafford.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you go here. I'm wanting to hear how this goes.
Yeah. If you think about it, I think Matt Stafford is clearly an upgrade over Jared Goff. Yes.
Good start. You're selling me.
Yeah.
You got me so far.
Am I hooking you in yet?
You have. That was the first piece of it.
Right. Granted, he is a little bit older and he doesn't have playoff experience, but no one would have playoff experience if they were on the Detroit Lions either. So got to give him a little bit of flack for that. So I do think he's a nice upgrade. Stafford's going to have weapons on offense that play their key roles, and they know exactly what they're doing in that offense with Sean McVay. And I mean, let's get real. The relationship between McVay and Goff was pretty much toxic towards the end of that. So it was pretty much time to move on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they just pretty much had to find a suitor. And I mean, why not Detroit, So, the Rams decided that they pretty much need to compete in the NFC West, who's going to be pretty pretty much loaded next year especially with the Arizona Cardinals. And then the 49ers are going to be back healthy on defense and especially. So why not go make a little splashy move and try to maybe make that home Super Bowl that we were talking about. So
Part 2.
That's right. So, I mean, I like the fit. I know they gave up a lot to get him, but whatever. They clearly don't care about first round picks anyway, because they're not going to have another one till 2024. So 7 years straight of not having a first round pick might as well go all in on someone that you're going to be confident in to lead you to the playoffs. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough division for him, but and I know the draft capital was a lot, and I'm happy for the Lions too. The Lions, I mean, they're clearly in their rebuild mode too. So whatever the Rams end up finishing for their season, they're going to get too. So barring any more trades that the Rams are going to make, they're going to have a pick, the first rounder in 2024. But I like the fit for Matt Stafford. I feel like he deserves a little bit of a shot to make the playoffs and do something. He's such a pro's pro, and I like the fit. I thought it was a big surprise. I didn't think that was going to happen for the Rams, because they seemed like they were doing well with Goff and their defense. So, I mean, they won the playoff game last year against Seattle. So, I mean, I don't know, but I like the fit. So
they wanted it out really bad, but I didn't know if it was going to be that bad of an out at the time.
Yeah.
And that came so fast. Les Snead is the GM of the Rams, by the way. And, I love the quote you say here, Michael, with first rounders, because there have been sources that have leaked from the Rams organization that the Rams almost look at first rounders as just a way to get better free agents, and that first rounders being a gamble. All draft is a gamble. No one is for certain going to be a star in the NFL. So for Snead and for everyone else at the Rams front office, it's been taken in the last few years that first rounders are kind of just like an assurance to get a really good free agent.
Yeah.
And so we've seen that in multiple ways. That's how Jalen Ramsey landed there in LA.
Yeah.
And that's how we get Matthew Stafford here.
Yeah. It can go either way with the free agents too. It's just like the first round draft picks. Like they're not certain. Like, just because they have success someplace doesn't mean that they're going to go into that a new system and succeed. So it's all about the certain system that you got. And obviously Jalen Ramsey, he paid off, but Brandon Cooks didn't really pan out either. He was a former first rounder too, and he's kind of been bouncing around too. So
his concussion issues unfortunately keep catching up to him right now, because I've loved the receiver, loved Brandon Cooks since he was with New Orleans, and even when he was traded out of New Orleans, I thought he was getting disrespected because I thought he was deserving some money. And even after he left New Orleans, when he went, and he went off to LA and then off to New England as well. Well, actually New England, then LA, in that order, of course. Both those times I'm like, okay, yeah, he had injury issues, but I kind of thought he deserved at least a long-term deal. Let's not keep having this guy hop around. So, wish him all the best. But, obviously head injuries have caught up to him a little bit, and his production's lacked, I think, because of said injuries. Unfortunately, concussions get more likely as you have them. So that's the damn shame of the entire thing, but hopefully I'm hoping he's doing fine. But I'm going to ask, because we have had this conversation about Matt Stafford on here before. I guess for any of us here, since we've talked about him, has our opinion changed on him elevating them to a Super Bowl level like some people have talked? Because I think we were split last time on this.
My answer's still no.
Okay.
Because I don't think he's gonna elevate them to that. I see him and Goff as very similar quarterbacks. The only difference is that Matthew Stafford is a little bit less mobile than Jared Goff is, and Jared Goff isn't that mobile to begin with. So I don't. Yeah, he gets better. He gets some better weapons, but he had some pretty good weapons in Detroit too. He had Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones, like those, to name the top two that were there. So we walk into LA and you have Cooper Kupp, you have Brandon Cooks. and I might be missing one, but I think that's about it.
Oh, my friend, how can you forget Robert Woods?
Oh yeah, Robert Woods. I did
Can't
forget
forget Robert Woods.
But see, but then you also got to look at it too. Like Gerald Everett has left the Rams. You got to look at Jalen Ramsey's great at the cornerback, but they lost 2 safeties. So it doesn't always come down to Matthew Stafford. He might help out a little bit, but it comes down to Mike said it. He doesn't have much playoff experience, and to me,
right,
if I'm trading for an older quarterback like that, I want somebody with playoff experience. I don't want somebody who's been missing the playoffs like every single year he's been in the league. Yeah, he's a great sack guy. He'll throw for 500 yards a game, but they'll still probably not make the playoffs, especially in that division. That division is way too stacked.
Yeah, that division is pretty stacked.
That'll be the best division in football. I'm
absolutely.
You know, it was last year, I thought so.
Yeah.
Say it again. Even if the Rams didn't win the division, I was so close. If it wasn't for Goff having an injury issue at the end of the year, I bet he pulls it off, and they would have been able to move forward. I'm just saying.
You sound like something off of a Scooby-Doo episode there. If it wasn't for him, I would have
it. Wasn't for you meddling kids.
Well, you know what? If it wasn't for that meddling thumb issue, then they would have pulled it off. Although I sound like my buddy who is a Detroit fan, more of a Matthew Stafford fan, by the way. Funny enough, the guy also hates the Rams, so this is a complete conundrum for how that works out.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm serious. The guy, he's my best friend. That was in college. You know, no offense, Tony. And you and I were a year, so just saying. But no, dude was like, should I buy an LA jersey? And he just like looked at it for seconds, like, no, I can't be caught dead in this. Even if I like Matthew Stafford, I'll wear my Detroit one till I die in his place. So very NBA-esque fandom is what I describe it as. You know, follow the player, less the team. You know, that new era type of social media following thing. But yeah, back then I said I think they can get him. I think an NFC Championship game is the possibility. I cannot say I can guarantee them getting to the Super Bowl. And I only say this because of the roster. Now, credit for my free agency talk, and this actually deals with the city Tony lives in. My favorite pairings were actually in Cleveland. Josh Johnson and Troy Hill going to Cleveland. I both went, oh my God, that's like that was the area of their defense they needed to improve so badly was safety, and maybe add another solid corner in there. And you can elevate this team even better than 11-5. You just have to, of course, have the same play that you had with Baker Mayfield this past year and keep silencing people that doubt him. But the secondary for Cleveland, I love both those moves. They were reasonably affordable for their positions. And Josh Johnson is one of the least talked about quality safeties in the NFL. And he went somewhere that instantly I think he'll have success. And he's going there with a teammate too. So even better chemistry on the defense now because you have someone that knows the style of play and they'll be able to communicate better. That was mine.
Yeah, honestly, they upgraded from Andrews and Dejo. I'm pretty sure they almost threw a parade in Cleveland just because they signed Johnson over to take Sendejo's spot. So, you know, it's one of those things, man. You hit it on the head. You know, Cleveland's going to look good this year. And they looked good last year. And I'll still have that caveat, though, that you kind of alluded to is which Baker are we going to have show up? Is he going to be the one that silences the haters? Or is it going to be the one that likes to force throws to his number 2 wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr.?
Number 2.
I am surprised as much as there was talk about it that nothing has happened with him yet. And maybe, you know, there's still draft day potential, I imagine, for him if they found a place. You know, but I'm shocked he didn't move unless he is definitely dead set and bought in and is done with his shenanigans and all that after seeing an 11-5 team last year with his buddy Jarvis doing pretty damn well.
And an 11-5 team mainly without him. So I think he would be more inclined to shut his mouth and play football if he realizes that if he's actually on his game. And he can say, you know, I still don't believe the whole thing. Oh, I was playing with an injured groin during the first half of the season. And you can always say that once you get hurt and get knocked out, you can always use that cop out. Oh, I wasn't 100%. Great cop out. But and people in Cleveland will fight me on this too, because I truly believe Odell Beckham is the number 2 wide receiver in Cleveland. There are people who agree with me because Jarvis is honestly the better
producing.
Yeah, he produces for one. For two, Odell can catch these great one-handed catches, these sideline catches, but he doesn't catch the easy ones, or he looks like he's about to run before he catches the ball. So that's just a rookie mistake in doing that. But I think, there's a chance, especially they also signed somebody else to put on the other side of Myles Garrett, even though they didn't get J.J. Watt. They got Takk McKinley, who, if he can show up this year for the Browns, it's going to look real good. It's going to look real bad for Atlanta to let him go, but that's hindsight.
That's a first rounder for you.
Hindsight. Yeah, hindsight's 2020. And hey, I mean, I get the whole former first rounder vibe. I mean, Leonard Floyd got a nice contract and payday for the Rams, first double-digit sack season of his career. I'm sitting here just kind of pouting, going, and we paid $80 million to a 30-plus-year-old, of course, ourselves with Robert Quinn. And there goes a 10.5 sack guy right there that was in his fifth year that we just never could seem to capitalize on.
Yep.
Walk right out the door. But he's getting a nice payday too. Although I will say that the Rams, I think, for their situation, they just love messing with money and don't really care how they figure it out. As long as at the end of the day, that cap line hits like dead zero, and they're good, and they have just enough talent to get by. Because, I'm looking at the numbers they're paying some of these guys. Like, for example, Leonard Floyd. I'm like, oh my God, you're paying him how much? I know we got 10.5 sacks, but like, dang man, that's a lot of cash for one year deal, and you're already paying Ramsey how much as well? Oh my goodness, but they got rid. But I mean, not to mention the dead cap money. That's the main thing.
My God,
Jared Goff and even Todd Gurley still, they're going to be paying those guys at least another 2 years.
Yep,
it's a lot of money being thrown out the door for no one, but they're going to be competing still. So it amazes me. I don't know. Les Snead must be one of the most genius GMs in the NFL.
And it almost doesn't even make sense. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I would have never thought to do anything like that. And they're literally doing that. Like, it doesn't make sense, but hey, they're doing it, and they just won a playoff game last year. So what do I know?
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's no joke.
Very true.
I have a head scratcher signing, but I'm going to wait because I want to hear Tony's real quick. I'm curious. Tony, I mean, what stands out to you out of at least some of the bigger names, or, ones that might have gone to the radar?
I'm taking this a completely different direction, and I apologize. The most surprising thing of this offseason free agency signings is the fact that the New England Patriots have actually been spending money.
There we go. I was waiting for someone to bring it up.
That is 100% the biggest surprise. Them and the Texans are spending. Like, if you look at the NFL.com free agent signings, them and the Texans have the two longest free agent signing lists. It's ridiculous. Like, they're great signings. It's just that how now he does it. I mean, they signed two great tight ends in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and they didn't get just one. They got two good tight ends? What is this? Like, 10 years ago with Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski?
No kidding.
Man.
Oh
hey,
my God.
Bill's got to prove a point now because old Tommy boy decided to win a Super Bowl. So he's like, oh my gosh, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Now, remember, here's something I think people forget too. They had by far the most players opt out of that roster last year. They had 20 plus players. I think it was 23 at the end of it. When the dust settled, decided, you know what, I'm sitting out. And that was mostly on the defensive side of the ball, too. Also, they got Kyle Van Noy back after he left to go get a massive contract. Pretty much the Miami Dolphins went, nah, this ain't worth it. And so Bill gets to kind of throw a middle finger at Miami and go, we get our boy back. He's probably going to play super well. Just like how Jamie Collins decided to come back to us after he went to Cleveland. It's like, welcome back to the club, son. Now you know what winning feels like.
Getting you for cheap. Same production.
Honestly, though, $13 million for 2 years, that's a steal. That's a steal. And then I gotta point it out because it's more specific one. Shaq Lawson is now a Texan.
Right.
I don't know when I missed that, but I missed that. So
well, congratulations. You've caught yourself up a little bit.
It's been long, man. I mean, they traded the 6th round pick for a 7th round pick and a linebacker for Shaq Lawson. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of trades and just in general, can we just focus on the Arizona Cardinals for a second?
Oh my goodness, yes, we can.
Because don't get me wrong, New England Patriots, if we're talking like besides maybe the Bucks, considering somehow the Bucks signed all of their free agents, they got back. It's they signed a team friendly-ish, and Michael left, so we all know how Michael's feeling
right now. Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Silences his video.
Sorry.
But in the middle of it, Zach's going off on a great tangent here. And
I was listening.
No, hey, Ryan Lichty, you gotta be kidding me, man. Guys pulling all the stops out, giving Brady an extension credit that's not guaranteed, but on the surface, you face palm and go, oh my God, we got to deal with this another year. But they got everyone back. They didn't lose anybody. They signed all their major players. Shaq Barrett got his money and also gets to still be a menace. Most of these guys got paid. And it's, oh my goodness. It's insane to think how one person can come to a team and instantly transform it, at least, or make it that much of a synergetic type of way. I know Brady, like people talk about this. Brady's not the whole team, but it's amazing how when you win enough and you get someone that's just in that mindset all the time, that they just go, why would I leave? Like the Patriots way with Belichick or Brady there, whoever the hell did it. I don't care. Both of them have equal parts in my mind, but
yeah, people went to the Patriots because they wanted to win. People are going to stay with the Bucks, especially if you just won the Super Bowl. You're going to stay with the team because we talked about at the beginning of last season, man, that the Bucks were the best team on paper, and we were talking about how paper's great, but we got to see how it turns out. And we were all wrong about the first half of the season. Like, oh yeah, the Bucks aren't going to do too well, and then they turned it on in the last half of the season, and then pretty much ran the table. There was really no doubt from the end of the season to the Super Bowl of who was going to win. I mean, yeah, there was that one game against Washington that was kind of close, but
Yeah. Tyler Heineke became a legend that day, and I get to rep my XFL vibe for that forever. Him and PJ Walker, I'm just happy about that. But yes. That's completely outside. I have my own stuff I'm talking about right now with that league. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So back to Arizona, because New England, we talk about them, we talk about Tampa Bay, and Arizona's got some stuff interesting. Like, of course, JJ Watt was the big free agent piece, I think, that really kicked things off for free agency. And I kind of went, we talked like earlier as well with the same conversation about, Goff getting traded to Detroit with then Stafford going to LA. That same episode we had previous, we talked about JJ Watt's destinations. And, Arizona, of course, was not even brought up in those early talks. What was brought up? Contenders. Cleveland and Buffalo are right in the forefront, even Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow none of them landed him. And we get Arizona, and I'm like, okay, you got an 8-8 team. You have a quarterback that's on the rise with, one of the top receivers in the NFL on the opposite side. But you're really just going to go to Arizona right now when, you haven't really been able to truly scratch a chance at a ring. And it's a team that also has question marks and is trying to get out of the inconsistency that they have right now. I mean, I'm just saying, you had better options and they would have paid you. Buffalo had the money to pay you probably.
Yeah, but I think the one thing we missed out on was when we were talking about how when it was going on with the whole JJ, possibilities, everybody missed out on the DeAndre Hopkins comment of let's finish what we started. And I think that's one thing where I think D-Hop was one of the main driving factors to get him to Arizona. I think right. He called him up. He's like, listen, JJ, I know you can go to Cleveland. You can go to Pittsburgh to play with your brother. You can go to Green Bay, go back to your home state, or you can go to Buffalo. He goes, but let's go win it together. And I don't know what he would have said because, honestly, DeAndre Hopkins is one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. So to be able to already have that chemistry with the guy on the offense, you bring that veteran presence and that veteran, leadership to that defense, man, especially with Patrick Peterson going out the door. I think that's huge. I think he realized exactly where he could go, where he could be more of an impact past just being a player on the field. He can be that leader.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a locker room leader. And I think, for what it's worth of the Texans, no matter what way you spin it now, because they have so many different angles you can approach as a disorganized organization or in the news for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to dive into that right now for, this topic matter, but yeah, you can see why JJ might have walked out the door a little bit. So I get that, the D-Hop connection helps too. Honestly, the silver lining for me in this, because I was like, I think you could have gone for a better chance at a ring than in Buffalo or Cleveland. But honestly, they didn't cut Chandler Jones. He was talked about being on the cut list because his contract's kind of a cap hit, and they're honoring it. Even with an injured year last season, or a season where he was knocked out most of the year, they're going to give it a shot again. So Chandler Jones, who's been one of the most efficient and another defender that doesn't get enough credit for his position and for the production he puts up, they're going to give a crack at it. And that's two Pro Bowl, all pro caliber guys on that front four that you're going to be dealing with. And someone that like a JJ Watt, that even in his age, early 30s, is versatile and can play all around. So I guess that's the silver lining for it, but yeah. Arizona is kind of to me is coming off now as like a retirement home for some of these older players.
AJ Green too.
AJ Green was the other one I was just about to say, 1 year deal on paper. If I'm thinking a few years ago, I'm thinking, oh my God, AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins across from each other, man, this offense is going to be unstoppable, but AJ Green's taking a step back. So, I just, very unique structure they're putting together.
Yeah. It feels like there's more question marks, in my opinion. I feel like, not saying that they're not great players, but it seems like they're paying for past like production in a sense, in my opinion. But if you could still get that production, for a cheap price, I know they're not, Arizona's not really sure about Larry Fitzgerald either, if he's going to retire or not, or if he's going to do one more year for like the fourth year in a row, so we'll see. But you gotta, they also lost, I think Tony already said Patrick Peterson, and then Hassan Riddick's, he's gone to the Panthers already too. So they got to figure out some replacements there. But, like we've already said, the West is already pretty stacked as it is. So you gotta fill those voids somehow.
Right. And a few, of course, I need to mention too, because they're, like I said, the Cardinals they're in the best division in football right now, I think. But, they also have pieces that, we make them, besides JJ Watt signing there and just kind of signed to a team that is a little still unproven. They have some pieces too that make me kind of go, okay, well, I see what you're trying to do. Can Malcolm Butler fill in and be the Patrick Peterson replacement? My sign is maybe, but, I wouldn't say he lived up to what he was in New England for the most part in Tennessee. He held his own, but wasn't that de facto number one. So he'll step in and he'll be serviceable. He's a 1 year, $6 million deal. So affordable for what he has had on his resume. Rodney Hudson, they signed on as center via trade. They actually gave him a contract just recently. So he's going to be a vital piece. I was surprised the Raiders even let him walk out the door, but I don't know what John Gruden wants to do with the Raiders anymore. I think he's just there. It almost feels like he's there for a paycheck for that 10-year contract he signed.
Oh my dear God.
What it's worth.
They could have,
playoff appearances yet.
Right. They could pay him, but they couldn't have paid Khalil Mack back then at that time. I know. I don't know about you, but I think I would have picked Mack too.
Couldn't pay Khalil, couldn't pay Cooper either. Nope.
God,
both of them go their separate ways.
Break my heart they couldn't pay Cooper. Break my heart.
Just breaks Tony's
heart. I know it's tearing him up inside.
Just shredding me.
What we could have done with that first round draft pick if we hadn't traded to the Raiders.
Yeah, hey.
I should be on the phone right now.
At the time, but I'm happy to eat my words.
Yeah, Tony, you should be on the phone right now calling up Mike Mayock, trying to trying to get it back. We made a mistake. CeeDee Lamb obviously was the future. Cooper really isn't that big of a deal. Come on, buddy. You can have him back.
What will you take?
Come on down.
I don't even
We'll give
remember
everything they need.
I don't even remember who they spent that pick on.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think people really realize either, because even with the Bears first rounders, they really have missed with those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which comes down to the general manager out there, and then also John Gruden, man. It's just, you both have the power to do something with that pick. Both have input. And if I can't remember who you drafted with that, you probably mess up the pick.
I'm waiting for the day Mike Mayock probably goes back to being a draft analyst again after being a subpar general manager so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now credit, I should say that with not a grain of salt, but at least there should be a asterisk, because John Gruden is also a weird vibe when it comes to players he trusts. He's people have been reported saying that he is more of a veteran first coach, kind of like if I'm thinking basketball terms, kind of relates to Tom Thibodeau, because he doesn't trust rookies as much in his coaching tenures in the NBA. So for those basketball fans that are watching or listening,
Surprise.
If that makes sense, that's what John Gruden is in the NFL. So, very much a veteran first and then rookie second type of guy, unless he really loves you or you're a damn good quarterback. So
that's so true.
But man, Arizona is a very unique structure, has pretty good pieces. It's been quite a bit of spots that I've been surprised with where some have gone. Like I said, I didn't expect Malcolm Butler going out there. I thought he would get at least a more than 1 year deal, by the way. So I'm shocked they got him for that price. I do want to say though, we haven't talked of any disappointments. I have one, or at least one that could be maybe reaching a bit. And one that I keep finding, this will seem kind of like a swerve just based on the name, but considering that I keep seeing this player on these lists for worst pickups, and the one that I have that keeps showing up is Trey Hendrickson, originally from New Orleans, had a 1 year, like kind of wonder type of season at 13.5 sacks in New Orleans.
There he is.
Got picked up with the Bengals, got a nice
$60 million.
Yes, a nice hefty contract for 1 year production. Which, to me, that's why this leans into. I'm looking at this deal. I'm looking at, he specializes specifically on the edge, situational. Man, you know what that screams? Robert Quinn is flashing in my face right now. I'm like, this is a trap. This is a trap. You are overpaying right now. You should have not done this. You could have spent somewhere else, but they decided.
Go back button.
That's a very front-loaded contract too. It's guaranteed. It includes $32 million in the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. Holy crap! Jeez. Oh, thank you.
Seriously?
They also signed Ojanobi.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they did that. That's surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
He just went down I-71, man. He just was like, I'm gonna hop down the interstate. We're gonna go from Cleveland to Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that one to me, in all the research leading up to the show, is like, okay, I gotta talk about this, because this just seems like it relates way too much to what I have my own animosity from last year. And you know what? Maybe Hendrickson performs better, but that's a lot of money for a guy that specializes only on the outside for his size. When it comes to down linemen, you're expected to be more versatile for that kind of cash. So
right.
Just be wary, Bengals fans. I'm not saying it's a bad deal, but that's a lot of money for 4 years.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that it's concerning, Take that how you will.
It's a little concerning, It's just a little concerning. I'm just saying.
And he was playing on a good D line too, with Cam Jordan. And Rakins. Yeah, he was. He pretty much reminded me of Dante Fowler, how he took advantage of playing with Donald and I believe it was Michael Brockers and somebody else. I can't remember who else the other person was.
Good.
Yeah, took advantage, and then Atlanta decided to pay him. And then what did he get? I think he had 2 or 3 sacks for Atlanta.
You see, it relates. We're both. We both. This is PTSD for us right here.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the worst part about it is Atlanta's probably going to give him another shot this year, and instead of just getting rid of him and saving cap, but whatever.
Of course. I mean, hey,
So,
if Robert Quinn would have gotten more than 2 sacks last year, maybe they could have figured out a way to trade him so they can get some cap back to spend somewhere else.
right.
But he disappointed so badly last year. No one's going to trade him for what value they want.
Mm-mm.
You know, and that contract is way too expensive. It gets worse this year. I've already mentioned this multiple times on the show. Last year was the best year for financials for the Bears. This year, now it jumps up to where you're really paying this guy a lot for doing very little.
Yeah. That's the heartbreaker right there.
Yeah. All right. I can't leave this free agent segment here yet without the ones that were signed without, of course, going to Michael and making him grind his teeth about Jameis Winston going back to the Saints and making what should be the most fun QB controversy of the offseason.
Oh my God.
A running back versus a quarterback, the gunslinger versus the gadget player,
versus the special teamer versus the tight end,
the 1-year deal versus the fake massive extension.
Oh my God.
Talk about cap loops, by the way. That is cap gymnastics. That is cap gymnastics.
God, I literally could not. I literally saw that and said, how is that even possible? I don't get it.
4 years, $140 million, all voidable.
Yeah, literally voidable. What, like, that should be illegal. My gosh. Whatever.
They kind of did it in Tampa Bay too with Brady's contract. So I mean, you know, it's knowing the loopholes and how to play the game. You know, it's you know, everybody can be like, oh well, I've got him signed for this much money, but then you realize you dig into the terms of the cap and you're like, I can make this. I can put the word voidable in front of this, and I can get out of this. This is good.
Taysom Hill must not have saw that word or something. Maybe he doesn't know what it means. Maybe it's Italian. I don't know.
Maybe he did see it and he was like, you know, I'm just happy to be here.
Perhaps this is a chip on his shoulder so that he can even perform better than last year. You know?
Oh my God.
As a running back or as a tight end or as a quarterback? Because I'm confused.
Everything.
Oh.
Because I was talking to me as a quarterback. Because I'll tell you one thing: when Jameis came in last season during a game, didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Hey, threw a playoff touchdown, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Give him some credit.
Hey, maybe all he needed was out of Tampa Bay and underneath the tutelage of a good head coach.
It's going to be the master of none versus the gunslinger himself.
God,
I'm just telling you. I mean, they could draft someone, but I'm not buying into it. I think they're dead set on these two guys and riding with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard them talking about possibly trying to draft Kyle Trask. They were exploring that. So I've seen reports of that, but I mean, that's already a interesting QB room as it is. So, I mean, I know it's not, I mean, they seem like they're both good bridge quarterbacks if you were to draft someone, but there's already, I guess, voidable money, like whatever, but the money is there on the table. So
a lot of funny money flying around right now.
Funny money. That is right.
So, can I pay you with Monopoly money?
The way we're talking gymnastics, and now it's tax season as we're recording this. I'm just like, this feels like a good sidestep into an IRS discussion if we really want it.
I'm good. I'll pass.
Oh, I don't want it either. I'm just telling you, like, it's just like all the gymnastics and hoops and finding the loopholes. I'm like, I wish I could find those loopholes for my return. Oh man. Fun fact, kids, and this is learning from myself. Check your statements. I actually had with one of my companies I was working with, they didn't take out federal income tax. That's the only thing I'm going to say about my taxes. So I owed. But just check your stuff back.
Yeah.
Don't be me.
If it makes you feel any better, Zach, I claimed 1 week of unemployment for like the 1 week I was out of work. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's a way to do it to where they take taxes out. And I didn't know that. So I got back like a few hundred less than I should have because I didn't pay attention to that.
Okay, then. Fun lessons from the Zach, Tony, and Grimbo Show.
Economics 101. Always read the fine print.
More than a football show.
Yeah, more than a football show. And hey, these are lessons you can take into football because Tony just said it. Read the fine print. You got to do that with contracts. All right, guys. Let's go into fantasy land here. I mean, free agency is not done, but it's pretty much all said and done. The main structure of it, where it's early March into April, we've kind of gotten all the major deals done. It's just a few pieces for maybe some folks that are looking for the right time, right place type of thing. Like say like a Todd Gurley, who's waiting on his own decisions, or like maybe even a Cordell Patterson, like I'm talking in a Bears relationship, just seeing where maybe things open up or deals with teams come back online. But if we had to go back into the past about now a month and a half, what is a pairing that you would have liked to see? And you know what? I'm going to go back to the one I said earlier. I know why JJ Watt went to Arizona, but I'm telling you right now, I wanted him to go to Buffalo. Buffalo also was another team that basically signed most of their pieces back. Their team from last year that got to the championship is pretty much there. If JJ Watt goes to Buffalo, which by the way, its weakest link was run defense, which that weak run defense was mostly stemming from its poor quality of line talent. That's an instant upgrade for a guy that is also an unsung hero in the rundown game in JJ Watt. I'm just saying, I wanted this to happen badly. It didn't happen. I thought it could happen. And Cleveland would have been my runner-up, mainly just because we could talk more to Tony about it being there. But, just the Watt rivalry being in place between those two teams would have been a storyline in itself that we would have talked about all season long going into 2021. But, yeah, reiterating to J.J. Watt, I said it kind of in our original. I wanted him in Buffalo. I'm like, if he would have gone to Buffalo, that's another piece where I'm like, you're the team right now that I think, unless Belichick keeps bringing back everybody and just keeps on building that team into something that makes me scared at night again in the with the New England Patriots, JJ Watt would have given the Bills another step where it's like, you can lock down the East and you come just this much closer to chasing the Kansas City Chiefs, even with their god awful offensive line situation. So
oof.
I wanted Watt. I wanted him to go there. I'm reiterating that from earlier. I was really kind of saddened he didn't go to Buffalo, just me personally.
Yeah, I remember saying that too, that I think we all wanted him to go to Buffalo because of that, everything you've just said, but because they're clearly one of the best defenses already in the league, and defensive minded head coach. I mean, great franchise, to great fans, great. I mean, what's not to like, obviously, but I don't know. It seemed like it was the perfect match in heaven, honestly. Like they would have loved him in Buffalo. They would have cherished him to the moon and back. And I don't know, it's never happened out like that.
Maybe Watt got too comfortable after leaving Wisconsin, going to play in a dome for so long.
Yeah, true. I guess that's where they all go to retire now,
huh? Yeah, they all go south.
Yep. Or west.
Southwest.
Yeah.
South.
Fair enough.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of old people that retire in Florida too. So I mean, pick your poison.
Arizona, Florida, people go there.
Dry
it's warmer. It's warmer.
Dry heat.
It is dry heat. Hey, I have a conversation when I talk about going to Las Vegas for vacations.
Dry heat.
It's dry heat. There's no humidity. I don't sweat as much. It's
a desert. Hot. There's no humidity. It's a desert.
Right. Where's rain? That almost never.
It's not happens. A rainforest. It's not the Everglades. It's a desert.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Buffalo, plenty of snow. It's cold. It's outdoors.
A lot of snow.
It's in my opinion the way football should be played, but that's not how a lot of people that are fans see it. I'm just saying.
When you really think about it, Arizona was the only team that didn't have snow a lot. I mean, you got Cleveland. It gets a lot of snow.
Well, yeah, Cleveland's the other.
Yeah, you got Pittsburgh. Gets a lot of snow. Buffalo, definitely snow.
Yes.
Green Bay.
A
lot of snow. A lot of snow. I would, man, at his age, man, that dry heat's gonna be great for his joints.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Cracking the code. That's all it was. It was just that.
We've been bamboozled.
He played it's realistically D-Hop, but like, come on. I mean, a lot of players is like, hey, you're getting older. Let's have some comfort, Yeah. Go play in a nice temperature controlled environment where fans can enjoy themselves a bit more.
Sign me up.
But, just saying. But yeah, JJ Watt was mine. Just going to reiterate that again. And that's all I got. That's all I have to mention about that, because I can keep saying all day where I'm like, You had competitive options, man. You could have gone to the competitive, like Super Bowl doorstep guys.
Yep.
So you better have this payoff. Good luck. I yield my time to Tony and Michael.
What? All right.
I cross my arms and I wait to hear these mystical fantasy land free agent pairings.
I think this one's kind of obvious. Once I heard about Kyle Fuller being released from the Chicago Bears, there's only one place I wanted him
Broke my heart
to go after that.
Just broke my heart.
Oh
man. Guess where?
Where?
Dallas.
I
was waiting for it.
Who needed the most help in the secondary? Dallas.
Definitely Dallas.
And you're gonna try to tell me that we can afford a one year, $9.5 million contract? That's ridiculous.
No.
That's ridiculous. Come on, Jerry. I granted you did sign some secondary. You signed, some guys back that are okay, but
you signed some Dak.
You signed some Dak.
Yeah, a lot of Dak.
But at the same time, come on, man. Help yourself out. Don't have to rely on aging veterans or extreme rookies. Find a guy who's actually really good at his position, who's proven that time and time again, even in that busy secondary that was Chicago, and put him in a Dallas Cowboys star. Put him there. That's I homered this pick because I saw it, and this is bullcrap. He went to the Broncos. Went to the Broncos.
We can imagine, man. That's the connection.
Yep.
Those are the ones that I can't stand a little bit because I understand you have like the rapport with the coach. For example, Ken O'Neill has, chemistry with Dan Quinn.
Good riddance to Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I stay tuned to see how week 1 and 2 are going to be great. Week 1 and week 2 are going to be great for this podcast because that'll either be where I'm all in on Dan Quinn or I want to blow him like out of Dallas. I just want to get somebody else in there because I'm so tired of I saw what he did in Atlanta. I saw it. He did okay.
Well,
and that's being nice.
Do I have anything to say about it?
I love it. Michael, I love it. You just jumped in like that and just making it even more.
He might be a better defense coordinator than a head coach. Who knows?
It was out of my mouth.
But to be fair, I don't have high hopes. So yeah, wait for week 1, week 2. That'll be the fun one. That'll just be me going on a rant about Dan Quinn, which is going to be weird because all of last season it was Michael going on a rant about Dan Quinn. So how the turntables.
My. Yeah, you're definitely not going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Oh my God. Pull that out. I was gonna get even cheesier because it wasn't if Tony had stopped on the Dak. I was just gonna say, and I'll do it now. I'm like, Jerry got Dak, yeah.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's gonna change very much. Like I wouldn't even say that he was even that great of a defensive minded coach either. Just because of the fact that when he was in Seattle, like he pretty much inherited all that talent there that was prime Richard Sherman. That was Legion of Boom at its peak and literally, won the Super Bowl. You can't deny that, which whatever, but he earned being a head coach. It just unfortunately was with us and he couldn't really do anything with it. So,
yeah.
Which it is what it is. You try building through the draft and they just don't pan out, and it's just how it goes. But you never know. He might turn it around in Dallas. You never know. I wouldn't have the high hopes, my friend. But
I'll have the beers ready. Don't you worry.
I'm gonna be numb by then. I'm already diving into madness already.
Yeah,
I'm more just watching how you two react to your seasons as I slowly fade away back into.
I will be rooting on Keanu Neal though, because that man has gone through hell with injuries, and I hope he gets the fresh start that he gets, that he deserves to be able to play full seasons and to be able to do well and everything. So I loved him in Atlanta, but we just couldn't afford him, and that's that darn salary cap.
Oh, that reduced salary cap, man.
Yeah.
Hey, back up next year. They're wanting full stadiums. So
I sure hope so.
Sign me up.
Sign me kind of up. I mean,
let's road trip to Dallas.
Do I want to watch the Red Rifle go and do his thing?
Ooh.
No, that's why you come with us. You just come with us.
No,
that's fine. I've been told to go to Jerry's World, so I need to go to Jerry's World.
Hey, it's a large establishment.
I mean, I've heard Dallas. I've heard it's a fun city too. You know.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It very much is.
So
hey, I'm just glad we didn't go last year because I would have ripped my head off.
Oh yeah,
I'd have ripped my head off. I would have. It would have been gone.
Yeah,
clean off.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Mike would have burned down the entire city.
It would have been gone.
That would have been a trip.
Oh my god,
it would have been a trip.
It'd have been over.
I would have just been sitting here with my beer, just going, all right,
well, that was an interesting game.
That just happened.
That just happened.
Don't mind me. I'm going to go back to my room for the night as he closes his door. Yes. Oh my God. I don't think we were going to pull this off. And just you got Michael sitting out there, probably just if you Fantasyland folks, if this was actually happening, just probably mope face, walk away.
Oh yeah.
Put another tally for blown leads somewhere on a little notepad he has in his wallet. Again, for the one that's not be named. So
which one?
I'm not gonna, hey, you're trying to bait me now. That's not fair. You can't have me baiting that. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I just find it so ironic that we both blew lead to both of your favorite teams last year too.
That is irony.
How ironic is that? Like,
and one of those
rip the last
screwed us
rip,
over.
Rip 2020 season. Let's just throw that one. Rip it in half. RIP.
One of those.
I didn't lose my quarterback in week 4.
You're right. You didn't.
Yours gave me false hope.
You just gave him an extension.
Thank God.
Yours just gave me false hope. That's all I'm going to tell you. So thanks. I got a little surprise below screen for you. No.
I hope it's a beer.
Oh no. I told you I don't have any beer at the house. Not right now.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man. Michael, I didn't even get to you yet. What's the pairing you wanted to see?
So I guess there was talks of the Colts not being able to keep T.Y. Hilton, and I really, really wanted him to go and thrive with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I think that would have been a great pair. And I guess there was talks of as crazy as it sounds, Baltimore offered him more money at signing than his entire contract, his 1 year, $8 million contract with the Colts. And he turned it down just to stay in Indy. So if that tells you the kind of guy he is to that city, I don't know what does. So, but personally, I would have liked to see him go be a true number one and not have to really fight for, obviously Michael Pittman's there, and I can't. I'm off the top of my head. I can't really think.
That's
but
okay.
Yeah.
Zach Pascal's another one, by the way, just so
right.
To be fair,
Right.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, right. I live in Indianapolis, so let's not bring up pitchforks and torches. I need to.
Right.
I listen enough. I know the player. I know players on the roster.
Right.
I enjoy the city.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I would have liked to see him earn some money like he's done his whole career. He's been very consistent, very underrated. Doesn't really get the recognition like the Julio Joneses, the Michael Thomases, the DeAndre Hopkins, whatever. And I would have liked to see him in that offense with Lamar Jackson. Finally see what Lamar Jackson, if I could talk, could do with a solid number one receiver instead of a bunch of number two, number 3, number 4 receivers. So that's who I would have liked to go there, but I can't blame him for staying in Indy. That's a whole nother story with the whole quarterback thing. But you gotta you got to respect that he's staying in Indy for less money. So,
Yeah.
Right. And those ramifications led to Sammy Watkins going to Baltimore, which, by the way, still was surprised at this when I heard it reading through like free agency reports and such. Watkins is only 27 years old, like
What?
still prime age.
I know now. Wow.
That sounds like fake news.
It does, but no, he was born in 1993, and he is currently only 27.
Wow.
He'll be 28 by the
older,
season's start. Hasn't really been a number one threat since he was in Buffalo.
No, God, he was a bust in Buffalo.
Yeah,
a lot of people considered him to be a bust in Buffalo, and then they traded him. I can't remember where I think he went to, the then St. Louis Rams, but he never really did anything there either. And then
he got hurt. Yeah.
Yes, he did go to the Rams, was very minimal in his impact, and then went to Kansas City, more of a role-playing role. Actually got overpaid, in my opinion, with his contract there.
Yeah.
But was a hero in Super Bowl 53. So, I think people seem to forget that just because of how he fell off the map and how stacked that the KC offense is at this point. But yeah, he's only 27. So
that's insane.
I'm not expecting him to blow everyone's mind out in Baltimore, but the floor isn't too low, considering that there's not much besides Hollywood Brown or maybe the every so often Willie Snead appearance that goes well. So
Willie Snead's gone.
Yeah,
he is gone. You're right.
He's a Raider.
That's right. Going over to John Gruden's crew.
Well, listen, man, I love Willie, but I really wish he would have stayed with Baltimore. If I'm being honest.
I would have liked that. I would have liked the same thing, quite frankly. But
so I think he'll do okay in Vegas. He's got that tenacity. He's got he's that work ethic type of guy. I just feel like he would have been better in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you personally, people are happy that T.Y. Hilton's back, from what I've been able to gather here in Indy.
Yeah. As they should.
He's definitely been more of a team first guy. Now there were talks it was about money issues at the end of the season that was going to separate them, but I think he came back around to more of, I like the community. I like how the community's respected me as kind of one of those top guys. He's even said when he was re-signing, he wants to honor the legacies of 88 and 87, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, and being one of those legendary Colts receivers when he retires. So, he's gotten up to, I would say memorable. And I think he wants to finish his career as one of the guys you remember as like some of the big names. So completely understand that. The Ghost himself staying another year. So they're happy. People here are happy. I can tell you that, they get him back another year, and it's a young receiving core they get to play with too. Carson Wentz gets another weapon for all that's worth. So all that.
That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll actually talk a QB trade here real quick before we finish things up, because this was this week in particular. A lot of stuff, we've been talking, it's catch up, but that's how we roll. We like to get everything together, and then we just have this big mosh pit of and that was a weird comparison I just made there.
I was going to say
mosh pit in my life. I know they're violent. We're not really violent on the show, but for some reason, brain went mosh pit. That makes a lot of sense because it's just a big group of guys getting together, talking stuff, or not really talking.
Are you looking for the word smorgasbord?
Yeah, that works. You see, I've never been. You can tell I've never actually been a part of a mosh pit. I can tell you I've been to a Green Day concert and seen one somewhat start, but I've never actually tried to be like, yeah, let's jump in there and like shove people and get punched in the face. That sounds like a blast.
Wait, you can mosh to Green Day?
Some people did. It was in Indianapolis. I'm serious. I am dead serious. I have a buddy with me that can confirm that on that said time. And I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point.
Oh, dang.
All right.
So learn something new every day.
You can do it to Green Day if you want. So yeah, we do a smorgasbord. That's a better term. So we got that out of the way. But sometimes we get those like really recent pieces right in our lap, just falls perfectly, like an excellent arcing pass from like Peyton Manning going straight over to like the Marius Thomas, one of those beauties back a few years ago. So we get this one. So Sam Darnold gets traded as the draft is coming up to the Carolina Panthers, who some of us may have known, have been trying to kind of move away from Teddy Bridgewater because they paid a lot of money and they didn't like what he did. So now they want to fix that mistake. They were going to pursue Deshaun Watson, but, certain reasons besides, being denied a trade have come up. So what do? You go for Sam Darnold, who's been talked to be on the trade block since, off season. And they got him. They gave away, let's see here, a 4th round pick this year's draft, and then they give a 2nd and a 6th in 2022 for Sam Darnold. And Darnold gets to get paid his 5th year option at the very least. So right now it's a 1-year deal worth $18 million is about it. So Darnold gets a loaded offense for the most part with a all right offensive line, probably better than the Jets have ever had. The Panthers are now, they're going to be, the Jets. I'm sorry. I was saying it like the Panthers were in the second spot. No, the Jets are going to be definitely drafting a quarterback, whether that most likely is Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or whoever they want.
It's Justin Fields.
As Tony has said, and as Cody said on my other show, So let's see. Tony, you get to talk. Justin Fields is your choice, first off, for the Jets. But more importantly, does Darnold actually push the envelope in the NFC South for the Carolina Panthers?
Probably not. Because, you look at it. Yeah, he gets better weapons than DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey. He gets Robbie Anderson back to throw to, which he has chemistry with. That's all fine and dandy. But did any of us forget about the reason Teddy Bridgewater didn't do the greatest was because, there's no offensive line in Carolina.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't too bad. He had 20 total touchdowns for last season. I think it kind of screws Bridgewater over because he's really kind of stepped into it for the Panthers when they needed something most. You got to look at who they had otherwise. It didn't really pan out. Except for PJ. Walker didn't really show up just yet. He still got that option too. Darnold wins this trade. The Jets don't win it really. Then the Panthers kind of win it. You don't really get a better, that great of an upgrade. You get like a half a step higher at best. So, it's not going to do that much good when, Jameis Winston's going to be thrown all over your defense. And then, Matt Ryan's going to be destroying, just picking you apart again. If they do make a run in the NFC South, it's going to be because their front defense is going to be getting to the quarterback and causing problems, but that's going to be it. It's not going to be anything that Sam Darnold does to push them over there. If Teddy Bridgewater can't do it, who, again, a little bit more mobile than Sam Darnold, I don't think Sam Darnold can do it.
Yeah, the buzzword potential always gets thrown around with things like this, and Sam Darnold is very much not a stranger to that word when it comes to talking about him. The kid's got potential. The kid's got the best, and honestly, he does have the best offensive setup he's ever had in his career. So I'll give him that, but man, the buzzword potential seems to come around quite a bit with this kid, got plenty of weapons though. And one of them actually is Robbie Anderson, who he has had as a teammate before and some chemistry. So got to keep that in mind. I'm going to divert this now to the NFC South expert of this trio here with Michael. So Michael, first off, are you shaking in your boots with Sam Darnold going to Carolina first things first? Secondly, does this change your outlook on the division as a whole?
No, I'm not shaking in my boots. Not even slightly. I will say I love this for Sam Darnold. Like Tony said, you gotta admit he went into a terrible situation with Adam Gase. There's not much to say about that with Adam Gase and the poor guy. He's so young. I believe he's 23 or 24 years old. I think he's younger than Joe Burrow, honestly. And like you said, the potential's there. but the Panthers were supposed to be all in for Deshaun Watson. And I mean, now that the off the field stuff is there, whatever, but
yeah, the nitty-gritty there.
Yeah. I mean, they seemed like they were trying to go all in for someone, and they were trying to go all in for Matt Stafford too, but I mean, obviously that didn't go out too, but it seems like it almost reminds me of the whole Russell Wilson, Andy Dalton situation. They were trying so desperately to get top tier, and then they're like, we'll just go below average here. Like it doesn't make much sense. I feel like it seemed like they were going to draft a quarterback, which was probably going to be Trey Lance, I would assume, but they did. I mean, not saying that they're not going to draft a quarterback at whatever pick they have. I believe it's like 6 or 7 or 8, but you know, it doesn't make much sense to me. The guy throws a hell of a lot of interceptions. He's been doing it since he was at USC. I've seen a crazy stat that in 38 games in the NFL, he's thrown 39 interceptions. And I don't know about you, that doesn't really scream potential to me. I mean, granted, I know he was in the Jets organization and that's the crapshoot as it is, but maybe Joe Brady's got something up his sleeve that we don't, and he can turn him around. I'd love to see him turn him around just for the feel-good story, but at the same time, he's in my division. I hope he sucks. So I'd love to see the interception rate even go higher. So, but yeah, for his sake, he's going into a tough division too. I mean, especially with Tampa Bay there. So doesn't seem like, I mean, they were in the bottom of the division as it was anyway. It's not like they're going to be an afterthought after New Orleans. So we'll see what old Hey Darnold does, but
right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see him prove the doubters wrong, because he's constantly getting criticized, but I'm not really scared about it, honestly.
Yeah, and it's a potential thing.
Yeah. The only good part about the Jets moving Sam Darnold too, is the fact that they didn't do what the Rams and Eagles did. They didn't re-sign Sam Darnold to a contract and then have a bunch of dead money. They traded him, and then Carolina picks up their option. They owe him no money. So that's a really, that's huge for that organization. On the other side of that, why did you win 2 games and lose out on Trevor Lawrence?
Well,
if you're just going to move on from Sam Darnold, like what was the point?
And anything, I'm wondering if that was just a showcase for Darnold, because 2 wins, he was above serviceable, showed that he can, given at least some time and poise, he can deliver. Which is kind of what he's shown when healthy, which that's the other thing. He's been battered, now credit, he's also been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL in his time. Carolina is not the best line, but it's for the most part, it's an upgrade over the Jets.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And, something I want to mention too, Teddy Bridgewater there are teams interested in getting a trade for him. He was allowed to seek a trade. So sounds like that they might have someone that actually will pick him up and they'll get some assets back for him.
He can just go back to
Denver is a good choice too.
He can just go back to New Orleans. All the other NFC South quarterbacks go there. Why not?
He probably would have a starting job in New Orleans. I bet if he went to New Orleans, like seriously, I think the first day, or I think one of those people that should be on the phone, especially if you're Sean Payton, you're like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not even going to go into this uncertain. Bridgewater gave me wins when he was in for Drew Brees just over a year ago. Sign me up if I can get him for cheap, because the Panthers don't have much leverage and stuff. Sign me up. The only thing is now you're dealing with inter-conference trade or inter-division trades, which almost never happen. So that's the only thing. Again, in a world where it didn't matter, that makes a lot of sense. He probably would be pretty easy to swap right back in. So
that's true.
Denver, you know what? Talk about a team that's been in all the QB conversations, and probably needs someone that can be either maybe giving Drew Lock a bit of a kick in the pants. That's someone I'd do right there.
Denver or Cincinnati.
Ooh,
or New England.
Cincinnati would be a great backup spot. That's for me.
Well,
in New England,
that's if Joe Burrow is healthy. I mean, if Joe Burrow is not healthy, you got Bridgewater starting over.
That's true.
Because I think they traded Ryan Finley away.
Yeah, they did, and I know that you're absolutely right. That Joe Burrow is not expected to start week 1. They've been holding out steady since he messed up his knee. And it's best to recover when your top pick is your future. So completely get that.
Definitely.
I completely
Definitely.
get that. Guys, that's about gonna do it. Yeah, a lot to cover today.
Hey, we didn't do a 3-hour episode this time, guys.
I know, right? We didn't do a 3 hours, which I'm telling you that burned me out when we did that mock draft.
That was your personal best.
That burned me out right there. So I think we know our limit is definitely the 3-hour cutoff mark.
Yeah. Who wants to hear us talk for 3 hours? Like, if somebody actually listened to that entire thing, kudos to them, because I listened to it and then I skipped around different parts because I knew what was going to be said, especially like my own words. I don't need to listen to those again. I don't need to listen to what crap came out of my mouth. Come on.
I mean, hey, that was our first episode on YouTube, which, for those that are watching on YouTube, if you're watching the second one, hey, thanks for tuning in for another one of these shows. If you're on, if you're on our podcast platforms, like we've been on for a while now, hey, thanks for tuning in as always, by the way. If you made it all the way, congrats. Thank you very much. We're going to tell you to check out the t-shirts.
Go get some merch. We'll shamelessly plug that.
Because I mean, hey, if you're listening this far and you've listened to the other shows, you might be a fan.
You might as well get the merch.
You might be a fan at this point.
Yep. Get yourself a coffee mug or something.
Plus, maybe we'll sign it. Set it out.
Maybe have a chance. We can get that arranged for you. Get that arranged. We'll talk after the show. But as always, for those that listen in, regular listeners, we have the final word. Each one of us gives a kind of a little piece to end the show on. Maybe a little nugget of knowledge, little words of wisdom from one of us. So as we always do, Michael, you get the final word to start things off, buddy. What you got today?
So in my busy life so far with I think there's a wedding going on pretty soon in my life or something.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, I just found out actually. So through everything that I'm going with my fiance and trying to get everything situated, little things and everything, just trying to step back and just be grateful and thankful for what I'm about to do, and every little thing, even though I'm pulls my hair out sometimes, and every little thing is gonna be good in the end. It'll pass. It's all benefiting for the future, and I can't wait to see how the day goes, and I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to let you guys know how it goes and everything. It's going to be a great day, and I'll just stop rambling there. It's going to be great, and just trying to keep grinding right now, and that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, all jokes aside, we're happy for you, man.
Thanks,
I'm looking forward to hearing about this.
What do you mean? Let us know how it goes. I got invited. Are you
I know.
sending my invitation?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I didn't. So I'm not holding anything. By the way, not holding anything over your head. But this will now be on recording permanently, so now you'll know that happened. No, but I'm looking forward to hearing from both you guys.
Absolutely
happy for you all the same.
Thank you.
But yeah, tout that, man. I get it. You can ramble all you want. You're getting married, dude. It's awesome.
That's true.
That's
absolutely,
awesome.
I'm ready. Can't wait.
Another step in Michael's life journey, and it's going to be a fun one for him. Tony, what's your final word for this episode, my friend?
It's a tough one because I normally never actually prepare for this, even though I make it seem like I do.
Okay.
This is a lot of this is off the cuff. So if I do end up rambling and it doesn't make any sense, just cut me off. Just edit it out.
I have a mute function right here, so I can just tell you. I can just shut you up myself. But
that's true. That's very true. I think the one thing that really popped in my head this past week is a lot of and honestly it is taking that step back. I took that step back earlier this week, actually a couple days ago, and I wrote an entire blog about Ball State.
Hey!
So it's on most of my social media platforms. It's probably mainly on Facebook, so go check it out. But just stepping back and looking at it, man, it comes down to there are certain defining moments in your life, and how those moments go really impact what you do for the rest of yours. For example, me transferring down to Ball State was one of the best decisions in my life. Me moving to Cleveland was one of the best decisions in my life. So really taking those steps back to really see how far you've come, to me is a huge thing to do, especially when we're now officially past a year into this pandemic, and a lot of this has been heavy. So just taking that step back and being able to think about all the good that's come this way. I mean, for example, and I'm gonna always mention her. Best thing to happen to me in 2020 was that I met my girlfriend. It's during a pandemic,
my heart.
We met, and here we are 5 months later as of tomorrow. So it's really those different things to be grateful for, and so I think my advice to anybody out there is take that step back, take stock of your mental health, and look to see how far you've come, because even when you think it's bad, you can keep taking those steps forward.
Yeah, I you know what, and I've been through that kind of ringer recently. Been a little in my head on a few items. You kind of get stuck in kind of this like phase. For me, it was more just like I got stuck in a phase, and it was with the podcast. Honestly, I sometimes wonder if I'm moving in the right direction. I'm going to say it on here, and I don't care if I say that, because I got through it. I say, you know what, I have to go at my own pace and figure this out my own way. All three of us, I mean, all three of us work regular day jobs. I want to say it right now. We all work 9 to 5s in some capacity, or even Tony's sake, we talk about his all over the place type of timing, if you will, and this is a passion thing first and foremost. And sometimes I let that slip by in my head. So, I sympathize with those notions, kind of breathe a little bit, but there is good from last year. And I'm going to talk about kind of getting down the other road here. And I did sign up. In Indiana, we just had opened up the age of 16 or older now can be registered for vaccinations. I will be getting vaccinated April 16th as of this recording. I'm going to be fully vaccinated. It's the one-shot Johnson & Johnson shot.
Jealous.
And I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm just saying, I'm advising for my word, if you have that chance, trust it, go get yourself a start at that chance to, start moving towards maybe getting back to what you used to like, I mean, credit, everyone has their own opinion on this. I get it. I talk to people every day, even at my own job, they have their own takes on how the pandemic's gone, but at the very least, just for those that, they have their own, they want to respect that. And you want to, get us back to where we don't have to complain about each other's thoughts on this or how certain people run what. Go get a shot in whatever way possible. If you want to do your research on one, that's fine. And let's get back to what we used to possibly have. I know some things will change, but I'm very much, for one, I'm looking forward to, on April 16th, being able to get a vaccination, say that, I at least still have a much better immunity towards this deadly disease, and I can get some of that mental cap back. I enjoyed I miss going out on the weekends. I miss going out and doing things that, in my mid-20s that I like to do. And that's one of those steps for me. If you have other reasons, that's fine. But in all honesty, just for the sake of some others and those that really are wanting to get back to their normal lives in particular, a shot helps that, and you help with that effort. So my take is, with most of these states getting different registration guidelines and things getting lowered to at least our age groups now, start looking into that, doing research, get yourself involved in possibly getting a vaccine and getting back to at least a little bit better of a society that we once had. So that's how I end my time.
Yeah. RIP to me, because I get my second shot April 29th. So
hey, you know what?
We'll see how I feel at Mike's wedding.
Look, I'm just saying, I've been thinking of some plans. And by the way, for those that are for vaccine, I'm still going to wear my mask. I'm just telling you that. Again, everyone has their own opinion on it. I'm just saying that just as a stipulation for what I'm talking about. But, I'm still respecting those that can't get the shot yet either. So, just a thing. But, check it out. Like I said, if you want to do research, there's plenty of materials on it too. Make sure you know what you want to do, and make sure you go to the site you want to go to and get your shot. Trust me, it helps us all in the long run. And that'll do it for us in particular. And in the long run, we got more shows coming up later on this year. The draft is coming up at the end of the month. Tony's he's not going to be in town though, right? You got the wedding around that time. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
oh,
so
yes.
we had talked about it. It happens and misses, but you know what?
Yeah.
Draft's coming up. We'll have a great post-draft show on where we stand. I imagine these guys will feeling great. I probably won't either way, but who knows? There's a bit of time left. Just saying, so just a little bit. But
We shall see.
Yeah,
you forget who my team is. They don't normally draft intelligently sometimes.
Well, no, you're the Jones family. It's impulse.
I too.
It's impulse drafting.
The best offensive weapon possible.
CeeDee Lamb. Okay.
Another wide receiver.
What about our secondary?
Dagnabbit, I'm going up. I'm going to trade to fourth. We're going to get Kyle Pitts. Get him right now.
You think I'll draft him as Boat again?
I don't know.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so.
I think he'll do it. You think Jerry Jones cares at this age? I just don't think he does. I'm just saying. All right, that's going to do it for us, guys. For those that watch, those that listen, those that comment, those that subscribe to the show, thank you. I appreciate those that do, because it means that I don't know. I appreciate those that like to give a listen to us here, and they enjoy what we have to discuss. I don't know. It's just a pretty cool feeling, I guess. But yeah, if you want to subscribe, by the way, to the show, if you haven't already, or if you listened through this or watched it on YouTube all the way, throw us a subscription on YouTube if you want, or your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, you name it. We're on it. It's almost impossible to not find us at this point. Which is at Gridiron Gallery, and you can tune into our Zach, Tony, and Grimbo Show editions of Gridiron Gallery as well, and follow on social media. For myself, I'll get this out of the way. All of these socials you can find are at Grid Gallery Pod. That is the new socials for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That is at Grid Gallery Pod. I'm going to point to the person, at least that's in my screen, but I'll still mention the name. Tony's social media is...
Twitter is Tony-Danielson, and Instagram is Daniel Bridge, and my Facebook is Tony Danielson. So check that out. My Facebook usually has my blog on it. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's just me rambling. So check it out.
And Michael's is? Not on Twitter.
Okay.
Instagram, M Grimberg _35. That's all.
Now you're just playing with us because we didn't even mention the Twitter.
I know. I was waiting for it. I was trying to hide myself from the shame.
Nice job, soon to not be bachelor. For Tony Stenderson, for Michael Grimbo Grimberg, I am Zach Keilman saying so long. Thanks as always for tuning into these shows, and stay tuned till the next one, ladies and gentlemen. The Gridiron Gallery Podcast. New episodes every Friday on your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and premiering first, as always, at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on UnhingedSN.com.